And we'll start in Shavasana. So you'll want your legs about hip width, your ankles rolling out to the side. Let's have the palms facing upwards. And just start to notice how you're breathing. Whereabouts in your lungs are you breathing into? Just scanning the body, checking in. How do you feel right now? And let's slowly start to deepen the breath. Nice, long, slow breaths. Feeling the back of the body against the earth as you breathe. Let's take one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Keeping the eyes closed. And start to feel your breath through your body. So as you inhale, feel your belly rise. Feel your ribs expand. And feel your breath all the way into the tops of your collarbones. And then mindfully tracing the breath out of the body. And as you're doing this, feel your hand on your heart. Feel your hand on your belly, on your solar plexus. Connecting now to you, 1 hour just for you. Thanking yourself for showing up. So the theme today is self-love. And as Robert Holden says, your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. So you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to fill your own cup, your own well. Otherwise, you're no good to anybody, including yourself. So we're using this whole hour to fill your own cup. So imagine that your body is a vessel. And as you breathe in, you're filling the vessel. And as you breathe out, you're letting go of what no longer serves you. So breathing nice and deeply here, slowly. I'll start by reading you a poem. It's a famous poem, so if you know it, try and listen to it afresh and see if there are any words or phrases or concepts in it that resonate with you today, right now, right here in this present moment. It's called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelves, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your own life. So breathing in that energy. And then slowly letting your body lead. Let your intuition take you through this whole hour, not your intellectual mind. You're going to make your way to a seated position. Now we'll be here for a good few minutes, so make sure that you're comfortable. If you have something to raise your hips up a little bit, like pillows or blocks, maybe put those in. But treating yourself with great care, finding a seated position that's comfortable for you. Taking your hand back to your heart and the other hand to the belly, maybe swapping hands this time. Breathing here, connecting to your rhythm. Nobody else's rhythm, just your own. And then maybe start to take a little sway with the torso from side to side. Notice how that feels, and notice the speed in which you're swaying. So if you've started to sway quite fast, just notice that. It wouldn't be surprising if you did, given that we rush through our lives. And slow it down. Slow everything down and move with your rhythm, with your breath. And you're going to choose a side, but not with your intellectual mind, more with your body. And take one hand down to the floor and then very slowly lift the other hand all the way up and over into a side stretch. So again, noticing how you did that. If you did it in a bit of a rush, maybe pull back and try to do it again, but slower. Slowing down in an act of self-love and self-kindness. And then in Yin Yoga, we hold the poses for a while. So going through the phases, the first phase is to test the pose. The second phase is to fidget until you feel that you've got it about right. And the third phase is to settle. So going through the phases in your own time. And then noticing, scanning the body. Is there anything or anywhere that you're holding tension? And if so, could you modify that pose? Could you sink deeper or could you pull out? And then bringing the mind's attention to how it feels. Bringing the attention to the body. And breathe. Notice how one side of the body is all tight and raveled, and how the other side of the body is long and stretched. And then slowly you're going to maybe take one of your hands to the back of your head and sort of open your chest up towards the ceiling, just noticing how it feels. So Yin does not ask for perfect alignment, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. Just playing really with the body. Breathe. Open the heart space. And then slowly just coming back up to center. And place the back of your hands against your legs. Closing your eyes. And just feel the aftermath of that pose, like the aftertaste of it. Notice how one side of the body has been stretched, but the other has not. So bringing your loving attention to the subtlety of yin yoga, the subtlety of the feminine energy that we all have. When you're ready, let's move to the other side, but move slowly. And if you notice yourself doing it really fast, just back up and try again. Slowing down. And when you slow down, you might notice that actually you can notice a lot more. When you give yourself time and space. So going through the 3 phases here, testing the pose, maybe fidgeting a little bit, and then settling in the pose. Breathe. Use your breath to help the body surrender. Closing the eyes. Let's turn the gaze inwards. And when you're ready, opening the chest, maybe taking whichever hand it is to the back of your head and maybe opening the chest up. Maybe your body wants to do something completely different. Listen to the body. Notice how it feels. And then use your inhale to pull you back slowly to a seated position. And again, with the eyes closed, just notice the aftertaste of that pose. Isn't it interesting how it can feel so balanced when you've done both sides? Breathing into that balance, the balance of yin and yang and dark and light. Now turning the palms down to hold the knees. You'll take your body, your torso in a circle. So as you inhale, push your chest forward and circle your whole upper body. As you exhale, round through the back and pull the torso backwards, circling back. And in your own time, with your own breath, you're inhaling to circle forwards and you're exhaling to circle back. So really connecting with your own rhythm here. The nice thing about being at home is that there isn't anybody else that can influence really your own rhythm. So really tapping into that. And then imagine your torso is a big wooden spoon and it's stirring a really delicious, nutritious broth of some kind. Slowly taking the circles in the other direction. make it nice and slow. So slowing down all of your movements and focusing on the subtlety. So there's no muscles screaming at you like in other types of exercise. It's actually the complete opposite. You're listening to the whispers and the subtlety of it all. This time, you're going to make the circles each time now a little bit smaller, imagining you stirring the pot. And eventually you will stop stirring in the very center. There's no rush for your wooden spoon to stop, but when it does, do close your eyes and again notice the aftertaste of the movement. Can you still feel it swaying in your body, even when your body is still? Breathing into this space. Noticing how you feel. So from here, we're going to take a kind of self-hug pose where we'll take one arm over the top, and it doesn't matter which one, and the other arm, wrap it under. So you're kind of hugging yourself. So from here, close the eyes and just notice how it feels just to hold yourself. So you're not receiving love from any external being. You're receiving this love from yourself. If you want, you can close your eyes and even start to take a tiny sway here if you want, or you can find stillness here. So Brene Brown says, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do. So loving yourself through the process of life, through your own story. Just bringing some of that self-love and self-care into your body, into your breath with this simple movement. So from here, you're going to start to round through the spine. So your head comes down and you're rounding your spine like a hedgehog. And then you can relax your head down so that you're not holding tension in the neck or the head. And just kind of surrender, collapse, holding yourself in this pose. Notice how this feels to surrender to yourself in this self-hug. So we can often spend our whole life searching for something, or searching for a person or a job or something that will change your life. But often we just need to look in the mirror. We just need to look within. Breathing into that space within you, that sacred, precious space that is unique to you and only you. And when you're ready, start to uncurl that hedgehog rounded spine, but do it slowly and mindfully and sort of grow Maybe like a flower, you can imagine it, or your favorite flower kind of growing, getting taller, blossoming. And then you're going to open the heart space, still staying in your hug. Maybe you can tighten your hug now. And you're going to look up and arch the back if you can. Or just lengthen, whatever feels right for you. Breathing into this space, holding yourself with great love and great respect. Good. Now slowly unwrapping those arms, nice and slowly, almost cradling your own body, taking the hands behind you. No rush. The transition is just as important as the actual pose. You're going to interlace the fingers behind your back, open the shoulders and the chest, and maybe look up. So you're just stretching out the shoulders. Breathe. Maybe imagining your heart space and filling it with your breath, with love, pure and simple love. We were born as love. That's why babies are so fascinatingly beautiful. They are love. And when you're ready, taking the hands back around, but don't rush. Notice if you rushed. And then you're going to take that self-hug, but the other way. So your body should probably just feel which way is the other way, because your shoulders will be able to tell you. Okay, so just again going through the phases, maybe testing the pose, fidgeting the pose, and then settling your hands into your hug. Breathing here, closing the eyes, turning the gaze inwards. Maybe saying in your mind after me, I am enough. I have enough. And then rounding through the spine, nice and slowly, like an animal when it goes to hibernate. It gets nice and small and cozy in itself. Feeling how your body changes as you round it. How the skin moves against your bones. Something you probably don't usually notice. And breathe, breathe into the back. Relax the head, relax the neck. Closing the eyes. I'll read you a quote from Buddha. You yourself, as much as anyone else in this entire universe, deserves your love and your affection. You yourself, as much as anybody else in this entire universe, deserves your love and your affection. Noticing how different poses can actually bring up different emotions. Like this one is very, it's like surrender, it's small, it's introspective. And notice if that shifts as you suddenly start to grow like a flower growing out of the earth. Can you feel your spine lengthening? Just like, for example, a sunflower stalk that grows up and gets stronger and taller and thicker. And then you'll be as tall as you can be in your spine, and then maybe start to arch backwards if you can, or maybe just lengthening, whatever works for you, for your body. And then breathe into this space, this opening space. Perhaps repeating in your mind or out loud. You can shout it if you like, because nobody can hear you. I am enough. I have enough. This searching for more is part of the human condition. But in this practice, we're turning our gaze inwards and we're saying, actually, we don't need more right now. Thank you. Okay, so slowly coming out of that pose, nice and slowly. So your shoulders might want a little movement here. That's what my body said to me as I came out of that. You might want something different. So wherever you are, let's come into a cosmic ball. This is one of my favorite poses. So you're sitting on your sit bones, your toes are pointed, and then you can hold your body towards one another. Now, some people like to keep their toes on the floor. That's nice too. Or you can take the toes off, but you want to try and round through the back, really round, so that your forehead lands on your knees. And this lovely kind of pushing against just above your eyebrows on each side, closing the eyes. And if your toes are off the floor, just notice how your body can just find itself in balance, and how quite beautiful and simple that can be. So slowly lifting the head, coming out of your cosmic ball. And you're going to make your way to forward fold. So you're just taking your legs out straight in front of you. If you've got pillows, you might want to grab them. Don't forget, yin yoga does not ask for perfect alignment. So you can really flop here, like it doesn't matter what it looks like. And then you're going to start to move your body forwards and go through 3 phases. The 3 phases are test the pose, fidget in the pose, and then find the pose. So breathe into this pose. Notice how it feels. And notice what comes up here. So some people love forward bends and some people hate them. So just scanning the body and the mind for any emotions or judgments that might come up. And then trying to just let them go. Come here. My cat has joined us. Breathing into the back, let the ribs expand. Maybe using the exhale to surrender a little bit more. And again, remembering this, it doesn't matter what it looks like. This is about, how does it feel? What does your body want? Is it saying you've gone too far in your forward bend? Or is it saying that maybe you can surrender a little bit more with your breath? So we're spending a good 3 minutes here. Breathing into the forward bend, breathing into the surrender. And working with your body. Not against the body. So your forward bend today will be different from how it was yesterday. It will be different from how it was 10 years ago. And it will be different from how it is next week. So loving your body as it is in this very moment and feeling grateful that your body can move in this way. Thank you, body, for doing all the things you do, for transporting me around my whole life, for being the vehicle of my soul. For giving me the opportunity to experience this one wild, precious life. Breathing into your back. Let the ribs expand. Just turning your mind's attention to whether there's something you can do, maybe tonight or tomorrow, that puts yourself at the top of your to-do list. Because if you do put yourself at the top of your to-do list, could it be that everything else falls into place? Is there one thing that you can do? So slowly coming out of your pose. Notice if you rush out. Slowly does it. And this is very unusual. We never usually do this, but we are today going to come into a downward dog to stretch out the whole of the back of the body. So make the transition really slow, really slow. Downward dog is just when you make a triangle position with the floor. So notice how this feels. Maybe you'll want to start by bending the knees a lot, pushing the hips back, opening through the armpits, opening through the upper back. Relax the neck. Don't hold tension in the neck. And then maybe you'll want to start to pedal your feet out. Alternate heels to the floor. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Bring your awareness always back to the breath. Bringing yourself into this present moment without judgment, without criticism. And then from here, you're going to take 1 foot forwards, but don't think. Let your body decide which foot. You'll step 1 foot forwards into a lunge. If it doesn't make it, you can just pick it up and lift it. So there's a few different options here. We're going to spend 2 minutes in a lunge. The first option is to lift the torso and just hold your leg. The second option is to take your hands and frame your foot. If you've got blocks, it can be really nice to hold them here. The third option is to wiggle that foot outwards to the edge of your mat, maybe rolling onto the edge of your foot and maybe coming down onto your forearms. So find something that works for you, and we'll spend 2 minutes in this pose. So breathing here. This is a nice big hip opener. Sinking the hips down. Using the breath to help you surrender into the pose. Finding this pose. Noticing what comes up, if anything. And breathing here. Nice, slow, deep breaths. So perhaps after this class, you could be mindful about how you treat yourself, as it is all a choice. So maybe you could perhaps eat something like you love yourself, move like you love yourself, speak like you love yourself, and act like you love yourself. Breathing into this lunge. Nice, and slowly you're going to come out of it. That's 2 minutes. So you'll come out of it through meeting in your downward dog, but let's go slow. Let's go really slow. Be mindful of how your body transitions from one pose to the other. And then play around, but like you're moving through honey. Slow, kind of bending through your body like it's a piece of elastic. Maybe bending the knees, sending the chest towards the knees. That can feel wonderful for the armpit area. And then with your breath, in your own time, you're taking the other foot forwards. Try not to rush. Placing the other foot forwards. And then going through those phases. So test the pose. Maybe try out the different variations. How do they feel? Each side will be different. So you might not want to do what you did on the other side here. So play around, test. And when you find something, fidget a little bit. And then settle. This is a big pose, a big stretch. So we're spending just 2 minutes here. And breathe. Breathing here. Let your breath help you surrender. Let your breath help you work with your body, not against your body. And if you feel that you've come too deep or that you haven't come deep enough, give yourself the respect and the love to correct it. So keep checking back in with your body. Your body is so wise, wiser than you think. Breathing here. Read you a quote by Wayne Dyer. He says, "Remind yourself that you cannot fail at being yourself." Remind yourself that you cannot fail at being yourself. And that, my friends, is 2 minutes. So let's come out of that pose however way you like. I'm thinking coming back to downward facing dog for the last time. But you may not want to do that. You may want to do something else. So listening to your body. And we are making our way down to the floor to lie on our backs. So make that transition in your own time, with love, with self-respect, with lightness. You might want to bring your blankets near or your pillows perhaps. We're coming into a nice, lovely twist. So there are different options here with the twist. Let's take the feet flat on the floor, bend the knees. Let's take the arms out to the side. If you can, have them stretched out vertical, or if you don't have space, bend them. And you're just going to see how your body wants to twist. So you can just take your knees to one side into a very lovely, gentle, subtle twist here. That is a lovely pose. If you feel you need more, you can actually take your feet off the floor, your knees into your chest, and then rock your whole of both knees over. That's a bigger, more intense twist. And if you want something further still, you can straighten the top leg and take hold of it with your hand. Wherever you are, you're going to look in the other direction. So wherever your knees are, look the other way. Going through the phases, testing, fidgeting, and then finding the pose. Closing the eyes here. And breathing into your twist. How does this twist feel? Twists, I feel, are the most healing of all poses. They're wringing out everything you don't need. And they're getting rid of toxins. They're also making your spine flexible, as you are only as young as your spine is flexible. So breathing into the tops of the ribs here. Another quote by Wayne Dyer. He says, "If you don't love yourself, nobody will. Not only that, you won't be good at loving anyone else. Loving starts with the self." Loving starts with the self. Breathing into that. Breathing into your gorgeous, unique, heart space at your center. What can we do in our lives to try to accept ourselves unconditionally, no matter what? Something I find inspirational is that we don't actually need to try to be perfect, because it doesn't exist anyway in a human being, to try and inspire others. You can actually let others be inspired by how you deal with your own imperfections. So breathing into the body, bring your awareness to your breath, only your breath, and then let your body journey to the other side of your twist. Maybe take the slow path. Get out of the motorway lane, move into that slow lane. And notice how wonderful it can feel to do things incredibly slowly, because there is no need to rush. There's no need for efficiency. We're finding beauty in the simplicity, in the subtlety. And this is yin energy, the beautiful, feminine, lunar yin energy, soft, slow, nurturing, but incredibly powerful. So really turning your gaze inwards now, really going deep within. As Robert Holden says, he says, if you think something is missing in your life, it's probably you. Breathing into the tops of your lungs as your belly is restricted. Filling yourself with gratitude for your body, with love for your body, with respect for your body. So this inner peace, this happiness, this love, this light, you don't need to search for it in other things, in material things, or in other people, or whether other people treat you with respect. You need to look inwards, because what you are searching for is within. So breathing into your twist as your final breath. And you're going to make your way slowly to Shavasana, to your corpse pose, to the most important pose in yoga, lying on the back of the body, getting nice and comfortable, letting the earth, perhaps you're in your own home, so letting the earth of your own home hold you, cocoon you, support you, provide you with the abundance that the earth has. Let that be. Closing the eyes, dropping your weight of your body, but also the weight of your everything, of your energetic body, of your responsibilities, of any anxiety you may have. Drop it, let it sink into Mother Earth that is holding you. And breathe. I'll read you a section from the book I'm reading at the moment called Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. We spend our lives searching, only to discover it was inside us all along. I'm a perpetual traveller. I've journeyed to 6 out of 7 continents and had many jobs where travelling around the globe was my sole responsibility. My spirit has flown with adventure and my mouth has dropped open in awe. Still, despite all these remarkable experiences, I always felt as though something was missing, that I was unable quite perfectly to find that place or that person who would bring me that feeling of home. Until I realized that the place wasn't physical, and while enhanced and made warmer by other people, it wasn't actually about anyone else at all. It has nothing to do with bricks and mortar, beaches, mountains, forest, or skyscrapers. Like all things that truly matter, what I was searching for was within. Home is wherever I'm with me. Maybe say in your mind or say out loud after me, I am home. I am home. If your mind wanders, which it will, bring your attention back to your breath, back to this sacred space that you have created for yourself, filling up with gratitude to yourself for showing up for yourself today. Deepening your breath now. Bringing your awareness back to the room that you're in. Wriggling the toes, the fingers. Bringing your knees to your chest and your hands. Maybe wrap them around your knees and give yourself a little hug of self-love. And in your own time, you're going to make your way to a seated position, taking the slow path. Just sitting, finding stillness, closing the eyes. Notice, has anything shifted in you over the last hour? Maybe just a tiny shift, or maybe not. Let's inhale together, the arms out to the side and all the way up. Use the full length of your breath until your palms touch at the top of your head, and then draw your hands through center line, stopping at Ajna chakra, the point in between your eyebrows. For intuition, for wisdom. Taking your hands down to your throat, Vishuddhi chakra, for the ability to speak to yourself with kindness and compassion. And then taking the hands down to heart center, Anahata chakra. Breathe into your heart space for self-love, self-compassion, and self-forgiveness. Bowing your head to your hands, and think of one thing that you're grateful for today. Lifting the head, fluttering the eyes open. Namaste.